Hello, it's Uncommon Fossil, and today I want to present an Arceus Surfing Pikachu deck. The inspiration behind this deck is kind of twofold. One, the series I did not that long ago on Is This Deck Better Than Lugia? And of the 5 decks that I presented there, 4 of them were built around Arceus V-Star, which is obviously a terrific card with its V-Star power to search for 2 cards, and the fact that the Trinity Nova attack besides 200 damage, it accelerates 3 basic energy to your V Pokemon any way you want. So it really lets you pairs well with essentially any other Vmax V-Star Pokemon. So what other Vs could I pair it with is been on my mind. And then I've also, as I've been looking at the live economy, was opening up a number of Celebrations packs, and Surfing Pikachu is in the Celebrations set. You can see by the little Pikachu with the 25 on his cheeks that's what it's from. So, that was the inspiration. So then it's okay. And I've wanted to kind of play with Surfing Pikachu since it came out. I like spread damage. Surfing Pikachu's Max Surfer attack, the only attack for 3 water, does 160, which isn't great, but then it also does 30 damage to each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. So that gives some potential, right? I mean, if they have a large bench, which a number of decks do, the damage adds up. You can either take out some extra prizes by some of those single prize Pokemon on the bench that are support Pokemon, or you're softening up their other V Pokemon so that later in a turn or two when it swings into the active to attack you, you can then finish it off with one more attack from your Surfing Pikachu. So hopefully that spread makes the deck work. I got to say, I like spread. I really find it fun. It tends to be more of an idea than something that works well. But we'll see how it goes. I've actually found the deck fairly successful. One downside to Surfing Pikachu over Flying Pikachu is the retreat cost. Its retreat cost is 1 for both the VMAX and the V. So it makes it harder for those times you have to start your Surfing Pikachu. And with 3 Vs relative to 4 Arceus Vs, it'll happen for sure. So to get that switch off, and I don't want to attach an energy retreat because I want to get energy onto Arceus to get that going. I have 2 ropes and 2 air balloons. Now, I also play Telescopic Sight, which is really the tool you want to attach to Surfing Pikachu. Therefore, the attacks do 30 more damage to the benched V Pokemon, so very useful there for sure. So when sometimes you have to attach Air Balloon turn 1 to a Surfing Pikachu, but you'd rather not. Then the deck plays Melony, which this is a plus to the Surfing Pikachu, right? Water energy allows you to use Melony to accelerate to it, plus drawing 3, so a very useful card there. Let's see, just so I play a mix of supporters, 3 Melony, 3 Research, 3 Boss, 3 Marnie. Since there's really not much of an engine in the deck, I put in 4 Pokégear. Therefore, it gives me access to trainers more consistently, and it gives me more of a choice of supporters also, right? So if I want Melony a turn, or Boss, or Marnie, it increases my odds of getting the supporter I want on the turn that I need it. 2 Path, 2 Collapsed Stadium for some stadiums there, and 4 Quick Ball, 4 Ultra Ball. And then 4 DTEs to power up Arceus, and 9 basic water energy to get your Surfing Pikachu going. So let's jump into the ladder, see how the deck performs. I believe this is the deck that I put together the list on my own. I've played it for a couple days now, kind of refined the list. Honestly, the deck's okay from my experience. It's not the best deck for sure. I certainly would not propose this as a deck that's better than Lugia, but I find it to be a fun deck to play. It wins a decent amount of games. Certainly the fact that it's a lightning type is useful for hitting Lugia for weakness is certainly a plus these days. Obviously, does the deck set up? That's with all the decks, that's really key here. So this is not the start I wanted at all. So I have to start the Surfing Pikachu. I don't have a switch card in hand. All right, so I'm up against Hisuian Decidueye V-Star. Actually, this is the world's deck. So the positive thing for me, now if I get a switch card, then I'm in good shape. I don't know if I'll get a switch card, though. The nice thing now is, well, it's good and it's bad. My Surfing Pikachu is weak to fighting, so they play the Hisuian Decidueye V-Star, so he's going to be a problem. Both my Pokemon are weak to fighting. I don't play Dunsparce. We'll see what happens. I really need to get off Arceus' attack on my first turn, right? I have the DTE, I have the Arceus, but I have to pull off the switch. Oh, no, I can do it, can't I? Now, as I see it, I can attach, retreat. No, I can't. No, I'm getting ahead of myself. I can Melony, but it just gets me 1 energy onto Arceus, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. If I get a Quick Ball and Ultra Ball, I can also attack turn 1 because then I can discard a water energy. No, that doesn't work either, does it? So, what do I want to do here? I think I want a Melony, right? I want a Melony. Do I get rid of both basic energies? I do. Okay, so I can attack, right? What do I want to pull into my hand? Another Surfing Pikachu. I'll throw down. I want to Melony to the active. I can retreat him. So that's good. That's okay. So that's not terrible. It's not the greatest turn 1, but I'm setting myself up nicely with it. So I'm going to throw... Do I want to put an energy on Arceus? That's a question. I think I'm going to power up my Surfing Pikachu. I'll go all in with him this turn. I have the Vmax. I can evolve my Arceus next turn. I can't use my V-Star power unless I hit Path, though. So I'm getting Marnied. We'll see what I get. That hand wasn't terrible. It wasn't great either. This is a good hand, actually. I have the V-Star, which I will bench, and I have Research. So that's a good hand there for sure. So my opponent, so that was a very, not the turn my opponent wanted at all, I got to say, which I like that. I will thin, I'll assume I don't need to Research again probably. I still have a Research right in deck. But thin down the Research. If I need to, I can manual retreat if I don't get anything else useful. But I'll do this. I might want to leave. All right, I'll have to leave Path into play. That is, I know that now. So Air Balloon. I could evolve. Okay, there. My opponent conceded. It wasn't great for them. I wasn't in great. I certainly didn't have the game locked up at that point. I was in the advantage. I was trying to decide whether I should play another card or not. I wasn't stalling on purpose, but I was thinking at a point when my opponent felt that they were in trouble. And when I do that, pause to think to try to maximize, that's often when the concedes happen. Again, it's not an intentional plan on my part to force concedes. But, even though I have the advantage, I still need to make the right plays, right? If I don't, I can throw away the advantage. So anyway, the deck set up okay there. It didn't set up ideally, but I got it to set up enough, right? So that worked pretty well. And I was up against a matchup probably not favored because they could hit me for weakness. And for the most part, I could not hit them for weakness. I could hit their active for weakness. That was an option. And I guess I was trying to think through what the play was going to be. I think it would have been to take out their V in the active. I assumed they weren't going to evolve it. If they did, then I could have taken 3 prizes, but that would have been a foolish move for them, so I don't expect them to have done that. Once again, I'm waiting while my opponent loads the game. in this case, waiting while my opponent doesn't load the game. Now, that hasn't happened in a while. There was an update today, or they reset the servers. Hopefully, matchmaking is working okay. Let's jump in and actually try to get a game here. I'm not sure. I haven't actually had something that was a problem. So if you have problems in live, the best thing to do, rather than just rematching right away, is to actually exit the game and then come back in fresh. It kind of resets things. If once the game glitches, kind of the in-game memory can be fouled up. So exiting out of the game is really the best and safest thing to do. We'll see how long it takes to go. Often I'm waiting for my opponent to put their basic Pokemon to play, or waiting for them to choose first or second. My opponent here waited a little bit, but not much. Not any major delays here. So this is good. This is, from that regard, it's a start where things are going relatively smoothly. Not the starting hand I want, though. That part isn't good. I had to mulligan my opponent. I had to mulligan twice. What? 9 mulligans? What? 9 mulligans? That's not good at all. I can't believe that's. Wow. I mean, I play 7. That's just insane. 9 mulligans. I'll assume the game is working properly. It's a lot of cards in my opponent's hand. I mean, if I was playing like only a couple of basic Pokemon, but it's not the most basic Pokemon, but with 7 Vs, that's the odds of that happening. I don't know what they are. They're pretty small though. Hopefully the game's working correctly. Perhaps it's an indication that there's a problem with the game. They had to start a Sableye. Obviously, they would have preferred to start the Comfy. They get a Battle of AAP pass, which is good for them. I have a Marnie, although I have Pokégear, so I might want to research. I mean, they have such a big hand, though, that the Marnie might be good, just to strictly disrupt them. But I really need the energy too, so I might. I need to get myself set up. That's the bigger priority than disrupting my opponent. So a research gets me 2 more cards, so that increases the odds of getting what I need. So I'll probably. Well, I have Collapsed Stadium, so I will probably play Collapsed Stadium first before anything else. Make them discard, and I want to do that before I give away any information. It's a pretty safe bet that my opponent is not assuming that I play Surfing Pikachu. The Lost Zone matchup's tricky. Let's got to pay. And the question will be, what else are they pairing with the Lost Zone, right? They have Water Energy, but so we'll see. Maybe it could be the Goodra build. Obviously, Water Energy pairs with Cramorant. So we'll see if they have any other types of energy that they're playing. That'll be one clue before if they play down something else. Obviously, I'm gonna Collapse Stadium. At least that's my plan now. So I would like them to have a full bench. Hopefully, they will discard the Manaphy. That would be ideal for me. They don't know what I'm playing at all. So let me see what they toss. Any of the cards hurt them for sure. They got rid of. All right, well, that's unfortunate. Oh, that's right. They know what I'm playing because I had that absurd amount of. All right, so I keep research. What do I get? I get 2 Vs into play, I guess. I guess so. Well, I just get 1 V into play, don't I? That's all I can do here. So. That's right. They know I'm playing Surfing Pikachu as they dug through my 15 million mulligans. 9 mulligans. Okay. Well, that's useful. I'm pleased with that. So I will just do this to accelerate the Surfing Pikachu. Now they might not play any Vs, so that might not help me. but that's okay. I think I want to power up the Arceus too, because attacking with him is going to be important also, besides the Surfing Pikachu. I'm fighting weak with everything. They probably don't play a fighting attacker, but you know, we'll find out what they're playing. I didn't get to see 9 mulligans on their part, so I'm still shaking my head by that one. That just doesn't make any sense. I'll take a look. I think Justin Basil's site gives the odds of something like that happening. It tells. I think it tells you the odds of mulligans based upon how many starting Pokemon you have. So 7 starters. I mean, 1 mulligan's pretty common with this deck. You know, you're not going to mulligan most of the time, but 1 mulligan certainly happens pretty regularly. Now, the opponent definitely wants to bump Collapsed Stadium. You know, they're working with less pieces than they'd like. They will path me if they can. You know, assuming they don't path me, I will get my Arceus, my V-Star into play. You know, the opponent worked their deck set up pretty well. They got off the they hit Battle VAP past turn 1, which is always a big thing for any deck that plays that. So we'll see how this game goes here, as always. So, all right. So I believe if they draw a Pokemon, they have to show it to me. So, all right. So Drapion. I don't know if they really want Drapion, but they grabbed it. I assume they're not going to play it unless they think I play something else. I don't have any Battle Styles Pokemon, so its attack cost is not reduced, and it is not going to be overly effective. It's just a liability as a multi-prizer for them. I'm laughing. So they have 19 cards in hand, right? Because I haven't Marnied them because it didn't suit me. But you know, 19 now down to 18 cards. Just so, but they'll be back up to 19 after this play here. I'm surprised the Collapsed Stadium's still there. I would have thought they would have been able to bump that by now. Perhaps they're waiting intentionally till they make some other plays before making that play. I assume they probably play Path or one thing. They hit Path that, you know, it's not the worst thing for me. I still have Ultra Ball. I'll get my V-Star to take prizes with, and I will accelerate a card with Melony probably. I do have Boss's Order, so I might take out the Manaphy actually. I think that's probably the better play. Take out the Manaphy. So I can start doing spread. Well, that's good too. So I want to... I guess I get rid of both waters. I think I want to keep the Melony still, right? And in the Collapsed Stadium, I think I want that as an option to throw down. I don't need to use my ability again after this turn, but... So what do I want to get? I want to get a Vmax. And what else do I want? Do I want to get a V down? Vmax for sure. Probably get my other V into play. Okay. Evolve. I can get a couple energies onto the V here. Gust up the Manaphy. So their bench is exposed after this. They might be able to get it back into play. But we'll see. They might not, obviously. They could play Temple of Sinnoh also. That certainly disrupts me if they do that. But I think that's the play there. So their Manaphy's knocked out now. Again, they have like, you know, their hand is much bigger than their deck. They're not in any danger of decking out, though. I mean, somebody's going to probably play a Marnie, in which case their deck grows in size massively. If they don't play Marnie, they do risk decking out, I suppose. But we'll see what happens. I mean, they're going to hit into me again, probably not take the knockout, in which case I might just manually retreat and start hitting them with the Surfing Pikachu. If they bump my stadium, I will toss down into the Collapsed Stadium. And actually, I don't mind them filling up. If they bump it, they'll fill up their bench, I assume, and then I'll force them to discard another card again. So that's not terrible. All right, Colorless Experiment. I haven't been so what do they have here? So Sableye is gone. Yeah, I mean, Sableye only does one more than... So what did they pitch there? And 2 Comfies. Okay, so they're down to... So they've gotten rid of 2... So they're down to 2 Comfies. So that's true. That's a little tough on them, I gotta say. So they're cutting... I assume they have a Marnie. I'd prefer them not to... I'd like not to be Marnie this turn. I'd like to use the Melony. But, if they do... I mean, they're going to have to mount Marnie, I assume. Okay, they play the Rod, which gets back the Manaphy, assuming they have access to it. So they probably get the Manaphy back at this point. No, they use Colorless Experiment, so they don't have. I was thinking. So I was thinking for a minute they were going to Marnie. Not this turn. They use Colorless Experiment. Okay, they're getting the Manaphy into play. So we'll see what happens here. It's been a funny game. My opponent hasn't set up that strongly. They play Drapion. I don't know if they play any other alternate attackers besides the basic Lost Zone pieces. Capture, Water Energy. That's all I've seen. They must play Psychic Energy for the Sableye. I haven't seen that. Yeah, so I mean that's a useful play too, because I'm going to retreat to the bench. They can finish off. Probably I'll retreat to the bench, hit with the Surfing Pikachu, which also takes knockout for sure. So I'm not going to be able to boss this turn, unfortunately. So I'll attach here. I'd love to get a Vmax. I don't. I'll thin some because I don't need these cards. So just thin the deck. I will grab him. Just gets me closer to the pieces I want, right? Just thinning things away I don't need. Don't want to bench him. I will hard retreat. I just have to get rid of the 1 energy since it's the DTE, and I attack. Manaphy does its job though. So a boss would be great. I would have liked to have seen a boss there. Did not, but we'll see. Melony's okay. I'm not sure I want to play Marnie though. At this point, my opponent could lose by decking out. They probably have Marnie. They're going to play that at some point. I imagine that they're just staring at it in their hand, waiting till it gets closer to the right time to do it. But they haven't bumped the stadium, which I'm really surprised by that. I would think they've got to. I'm surprised they don't play something like Path or something. Well, maybe they don't want Path. They should have shut off their Greninja. If I get a boss, if I get Marnied, I might get boss. What's my count here? I've played 1 boss, right? So I have 3 bosses in deck still. I'm just looking at the list here. I don't play Palpad, which makes sense that I didn't. I just wanted to make sure I didn't. So I have 2 more bosses. If I can, getting those, knocking out the Manaphy is obviously a very good thing for me. My opponent has not played a supporter, I don't believe. I imagine they have Mirage Gate, and they can attach a Water and a Psychic. I assume they have a Psychic in hand, right? They haven't. All right, let's look at that again. Pokemon. Yeah, they have Sableye, which needs the Psychic. They play Lightning. Okay, so I'm trying to remember what that is. So probably. So it's a Lightning. I'm trying to think what it is. I'm not blanking on it right now, but there's some Lightning attackers, right? Probably a single prize Lightning attacker to. So they have Rod, I guess, or they're going to lose the game, right? So let's see what they do, because they can't Marnie now. So they might have realized that they've lost the game. But as long as they play Rod, they just need at least one card. It's our Energy Recycler, so that gets them. So they're not going to deck out immediately. But wow, it's. I mean, I don't know. I would have if I was them, I would have played Marnie by this point. I assume, maybe they don't have Marnie. Maybe it's a build without Marnie. So just going to knock out the bench and hit into the active. I will. Let's see. Yeah, I'll have basic energy. I do now, and obviously I will pick up more with Arceus is going in there. So I will Melony. Hopefully I get my other Vmax, because I want to get him evolved as soon as I can. If I hit a boss, that would be nice also. That would actually be probably even nicer. So I will Melony. I'll attach the Sight. I probably should have attached the active in case I need to retreat. Right? That's okay. So I could bump the stadium. No reason to do that. Just hit into the active. Again, take them the next prize. They've still got a lot of work to do. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, if and when I will get my bosses to knock out the Manaphy. Obviously, if I can get that Manaphy out of there, I would have taken more prizes or forced them to use nets. Let's see, do they play net? So they've used 2 nets thus far. Have they gotten rid of nets? They got rid of 1, so they may have 1 more net in hand. Obviously, still a lot of cards in hand. They're going to go down to empty their deck out when they use Comfy here. I'm guessing the Marnie's coming this turn. We'll see what happens. It's been a bit of a weird game. My opponent's play has surprised me some. So to put down the Cramorant, which is probably maybe their only attacker at this point. Well, they have Greninja. I assume they play Mirage Gate. I don't know. It's a little weird. Greninja probably would have been the better card to attack with. It would have done more damage to my bench Pokemon. So he does 180. He doesn't knock me out. So he can set it up with Mirage Gate. All right, so I'm going to... What am I going to do here? Well, first I will... Do I want to get an energy into hand? Yes, I will use this. Might as well. Can attach the active, right? But then I will bump, make them pitch another Pokemon, which might be the Snorlax. So they got rid of their... So they're down to 1 Comfy. All right, I will Melony again. I really want to see Boss. The game does not want to give me Boss. I could attach, but I really don't see any reason to attach to anybody. So 320 with weakness just blows away that Cramorant. DTE, have no need for that. Again, this game's going slow. Sorry, I can't imagine it's fun watching here. This is going to be the last game, right? I won the previous games quickly. This game's a slow game, but a lot of it's slow because my opponent's playing slowly. So they're not doing anything that turn. I hit the boss. That's what I really wanted. So I guess, so I have game here. So I will just end turn, right? So my opponent didn't have Marnie, I guess. That's strange. I wasn't even paying attention, right? I was just paying attention to hitting the boss there. Then I realized at the last second that they had no cards. So there we go. So honestly, I think, what was I, 4 for 4? One game my opponent didn't even show up in. It was at least, or maybe 3-0. So I finished my daily challenge, playing the stadiums, which are still useful to do, even though I'm at the top tier of the ladder. You do get, for the second one, you do get crystals, so you want to keep doing that every day. So there you go. Arceus Surfing Pikachu, a very solid deck, not top deck around, but a good deck. And honestly, I am finding it fun to play. So if you're looking for something to mess around with, give it a try. Take care.